Thank you for being curious enough to click on this video, and I hope you will be back for 30 more. I am Tina, and this is an introduction to a video series about getting people engaged and the baby steps that we are going to take over a 30-day period to get people engaged is with books, but more about that in a minute. So for many of us, YouTube has become my generation's TV programming. We go on to YouTube to be entertained, to be educated, to gather information. And while our intent is good and there is a high probability, I suppose, that we can be inspired to take action on the content that we are watching, many of us are simply watching others engage while we are not, because we are so comfy on our comfy couch in our comfy pants that we think, oh, tomorrow's a better day to start something new, or for now, I'll just consume. I'll do that later. So when I was sharing my plans to do this video series, a friend of mine said to me, I think that's called shadow lifing, which I thought was a great term, and I promised him that I would share it here. For some of us, it may be living vicariously through others. So I know how I am, and I like to do things by myself. I tend not to engage online. I have become, I don't want to call myself a hermit, but I tend not to go out and do things with other groups. And I kind of lost my momentum during the COVID era, we'll call it. And I thought, what would get me to engage with a group online? And I was thinking, it would have to be authentic. It would have to be non-threatening. It would need to have a low barrier to entry. So no, I'm not going to ask people to climb a mountain, at least not yet. The other thing is that I want to share with all of you is that I became a single mom at 45 years old. And what that prompted me into was a period of time of rediscovering myself, figuring out who I was going to be now and who I was going to be in the future. And I knew that I needed to take accountability for myself as far as my personal growth. And that was to make me a stronger person for me, but also a stronger person for my children. A large part of my personal growth back then and continues to be is with books. And I thought, what a better, neutral, non-threatening, authentic place to begin for all of us to engage in life a little bit more and stop the scrolling as much is with books. So could you do this 30 days of reading on your own? Absolutely, and feel free to do that. But just maybe this would be a nice place for some of us to start stepping out of this little hermitville that we may have created for ourselves and to take accountability for our own personal growth with a baby step. The other part is, although maybe this becomes some sort of community, maybe not, but having a group setting, even as loosely as this is going to be, it makes us feel accountable for our actions, which is just reading more. Pretty non-threatening, I would say. And what I wanted to do by hosting this is to create a safe container, we'll call it, for all of you, including myself. So with that, let's stop there and let's get into what the layout of these 30 days will be. Part of the chillness of this reading together for 30 days is that we're all picking our own book. Doesn't matter, fiction, nonfiction, choose whatever you want. The reason that I wanted to do it that way versus having a group reading the same book is that life comes up. We're all going to miss a day or two or three or four here or there. And I didn't want anybody to feel like they fell behind and then just quit the 30 days. So if you miss day 2 or 3, just come back on at day 2 or 3 when you are able to. And there's no self-shaming. There's no need to quit. You can just resume and go forward. So that was important to me. How these videos will go is that each day I'm going to come on, have an opener. We'll read for just 10 minutes. And I know that's not a lot, but we're going to come on for 10 minutes and then I will close out. At the end of it, at the closing, I'm going to ask each of you to write in the comments the book that you're reading, the author, and for you to take away one nugget from what you've read and to share that takeaway with us. And then I'm hoping that you all will go on and you can either comment on somebody else's book or their takeaway in, of course, a supportive way. We're all being kind here. Or to look at what other people are reading and maybe that's a future read for you. Each of these videos is going to be 15 minutes or less. I don't foresee any more than that. As far as the 10 minutes of reading time, I may play around with that a little bit. So I'm going to start out that is going to be maybe I don't know, a landscape with some calming music in the background. If the music isn't your thing, just hit mute. If you get to the end of the 10 minutes and you're in a juicy part of your book and you want to read longer, absolutely hit pause and read longer and then come back on and close out and do your stuff in the comments. So there's that piece. So again, there's no rules. It's very loosey-goosey. And then lastly, this is really about engaging versus simply being entertained. It's about acting versus just consuming. So the other thing is as far as your book, I don't care what you get. Choose a magazine. I lean towards nonfiction, as you'll see, but choose fiction or whatever it may be. But I am going to post 7 videos, so a week's worth of videos at a time after this introduction. The first being next Monday. So you have the weekend to pull a book from your bookshelf, to go to your library, to go to a used bookstore, your favorite bookshop. You might not have time to go online, but you don't have to start on day one either. So find yourself a book that you want to read and get ready. Again, I'll be doing putting 7 videos out there, a week's worth of videos at a time until we hit the 30 days. If you happen to come on after that, last week of September, then all 30 videos will be up on the Reading Together playlist. But otherwise, I'll keep ahead of you folks. But I just wanted the opportunity that if I receive feedback that something needs to be tweaked, that I'll have that opportunity to tweak it for all of you, since this is my first go at this type of playlist. So I'm super excited. I hope that you will have fun and enjoy this and make it whatever you want it to be. Again, 10 minutes isn't a lot to read, so if you want to read longer, have at it. Sometimes 10 minutes is a lot if you have a lot on your mind, and so it's a good retraining, and it's a good retraining to get off that scroll as well. So with that, we are off. I hope that you will join me for the 30 days of Reading Together whenever you should find this playlist, and let's do this together.